Welcome everyone. Today we'll have updated Marksman build, and looking behind me, this is a transitional Marksman build that has everything. So let me briefly show you my stats. I could easily get to 170 movement speed, and that's before getting the movement speed on my boots. So this build is incredibly speedy, and the second best thing you can notice is I have no mana issue. I can be constantly casting my traps and I don't have a mana issue. So in this video, I'll teach you guys how to solve the mana issue as you level and have tons of mana and deals tons of damage. So I'll briefly show you guys a few demonstrations as we speedrun the map. So I was timing myself. It took me about 2 minutes to clear 3 echoes, and I was killing the monsters. Imagine if I wasn't killing the monsters, it would take me less than 30 seconds per echo. And this build is incredibly good in all aspects of the game. Now you might be wondering, how do we do with bosses? Well, here's a little trick I have with bosses, and I'll show you guys the demonstration of us dealing with a level 85 boss. Now of course guys, I'm not into corruption yet because I'm a little slow with empowerment, but the same concept, same logic work for empowerment, and this is how you one-shot the boss. Yes, I have a number of tricks I want to show you guys, and if you look behind me, I have a transitional build into a transitional build into a transitional build into the final build. Yes, we have 4 different set of build. I'm currently using the second build, and this particular setup will have the warding benefits while having infinite mana gain using those a few items that I have crafted, have designed, and those work wonderfully. Now if you have been following our Marksman guide, you can notice my friend has provided us with a transitional build, and over here you can see I perked out everything for you guys, found the levels and also everything is related. As I'm leveling, I start to realize my personal preference and also my personal build, I don't need that much HP. And also I'm looking for more barriers, and also I'm looking for more reduction to mana and also more mana regen. So this way, if you look at myself in the game, I can sustain myself and I can even reduce my mana cost even further. So the first thing I want to notice with my build is that I'm reducing the mana cost of my traps. And this particular exalt item will reduce the mana cost by 2 because it's a multiplier thing. And over here, because I have such good mana regen and also reduction, we have increased attack speed as we throw the traps. Finally, one of the highlights of the concept is that when fighting boss or monsters, you can get a burst of mana by having some potions. So this is an experimental effect which gives you mana gain and also increased mana regeneration. And in combination, those 3 items, so I'm not using the unique items yet because I don't have them crafted to legendary. In case you're wondering, yes, I do have those unique items, but they're not legendary yet. So I decided to not use the legendaries and use my own setup, and this is actually wonderfully powerful. Now the same concept also applies here. Here I'm getting some bonus damage in terms of defensiveness and also resistance, and also tons of beneficial stats including penetration and also defensiveness and also armor shredding. So you can see right away, this is the transitional build from the tanky build into this particular build, which is speedy and also allows you to clear up to 200 up to 500 corruption. And because I'm currently level 85, I have perked out the skills to level 85. There is something special I want to share with you guys, so everything's perked to level 85. If you want to see the level 100 setup, you come over to the next transitional build and then you'll follow the setup over here to take those points over here. Now over here, I did want to spend some time to explain what you do after level 35 at the early stage of the game. Now in the very early stage of the game, I was actually using this 2-handed sword for a massive amount of flat damage. After getting to level 36, I was using those 2 daggers and I was unstoppable. Some notable unique items you can use are those ones I highlighted over here. Some of those waving items can give you tons of benefits, and this increased melee attack is also really good. So I'm using a lot of waving items which gives me some really random stats which can be quite powerful. And also some additional regeneration, also life leech, together with additional movement speed. So those are the setup items I started to use right from level 36 all the way up to level 50, level 60. And then what you're looking for are those transitional items if you can get the Trinity set. The set of the chest, the gloves and also the boots will give you tons of barrier gain, and also this is super defensive, and this is also super powerful by stacking the cold resistance. So you can see in game, I have not been able to craft any of those into legendaries, and I think I do have a terrible crafting on my weapon, so don't follow me guys. Follow the guide over here. You want at least tier 6 lightning damage, on a legendary potential 2 weapon. So you're looking for legendary potential 2 and legendary potential 3 with more stats. Right away at the start, you're just looking for melee lightning damage tier 6, and that is plenty damage. Now I'm sure you guys have noticed I have not unlocked all of my idols, so this means I have incredible potential to become more defensive or offensive. And also I have not getting all my blessings. I'm planning to get the narcotic blessing, and this way I have all my resistance over 75%. And then I'll follow by getting all my idols and getting tons of cold resistance and also maximum life. So if you guys are following this build, just stack cold resistance and also life percentage, and then follow those resistance perks over here to become super strong and be able to clear over 500 corruption using this setup. Now during this time, you should be looking for ways to transition into the final build while looking for those items and also exalted items. Now what I want to share with you guys is actually a very cool concept, and it is quite important. So let's come over here to more of my replays. So what I do is maybe I come over to my game, maybe it's easier. So one biggest highlight is notice my explosive trap costs 13 mana. One of the ways to lower the trap's cost is actually having minus mana to throwing attacks. So if I take this ring off, notice over here, I'm back to 15 mana. So having each of those tier 7 rings will minus the mana cost by 2. Now having those tier 1 rings will minus the mana cost by 1. So notice this is 15 cost. If I take this ring off, this is down to 16. So a tier 1 will give you minus 1 mana cost. But once you get to tier 7, it's a 2 mana cost. So it's a little tricky, but together I'm getting minus 3 mana cost. Now you might be thinking, hey Matt, this is not a big deal. You went from 16 mana to 13 mana. And what about, how do you become infinite mana sustained? So let me try to spend all my mana and show you the rotation. As I lose mana, I'm going to drink potions. And as I lose mana, I'm going to drink potions. And we have tons of potion, right? So this is the first way to deal tremendous damage using your potions while casting your spells. Because having this build will allow me to have additional mana gain and also increase mana upon using. Now together, you also want to be dashing. When you dash, you gain a ton of mana. Because I'm using the low life set, when I dash, I gain 48 mana each time I dash. Now I have seen some questions. What if you don't have those minus mana sets, and what if you don't have the build? What if you don't have the low life set to gain more mana? Well, here is an easy fix for you guys, and I'll show you guys in a replay as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to remove points over here, which has a massive mana gain. So after removing 1 point, I went from having 13 mana to 9 mana. So the mana cost just went down by 4. If I remove 1 more point, I'm down to 6 mana cost. So all of a sudden, I'm getting my traps out at 6 mana cost, and now have infinite mana with my mana regeneration. So this is why if you come over to my traditional build, you can see I purposely left out 2 points. Whenever you feel yourself have enough mana and also enough attack speed, you can go for 1 point over here. And once you have both points, you'll do your the most damage, but the mana cost will go up dramatically. So as a leveling marksman, your options are very flexible. You can put 0 points over here, have a massive mana reduction, or you can go for 1 point, having a mediocre mana reduction and also decent damage. Or you can go for maximum damage by putting 2 points over here to have more traps but more mana cost. And this also brings back to my trick before the boss. So before any of the big boss fight, if I want to do more damage, I'm just going to perk into those points and I'm going to go to the boss. And if you use the potion trick, if you have the experimental belt, this also works. So notice here, I will do tremendous more damage having those points. And the boss disappears. So yes guys, if you want to deal a little more damage just before the boss, just perk into those. The majority of the time for the entire gameplay, at this moment, I don't need those 2 points. I prefer to have a lower mana cost and also infinite mana as I cast my spells. Now before I finish guys, I have crafted a builder's guide that incorporates 3 different classes: Falconer, Warlock and now Marksman. I also have some items for Paladin for my friend. So what you want to do is, you can import this loot filter, unclick everything that you don't plan to play. If you want to play Falconer, that's great. If you want to play Support Pally, we'll have a little bit of that. If you're going for Warlock, go for that. But if you only play Marksman, you untick everything that doesn't have Marksman on it. So the first 5 things are for Marksman, and then you unclick all the way up and keep this one. Everything else you can take away. So everything that's a class that you don't play, you can untick those. Now hopefully you guys found those transitional builds helpful. I'll have those available, and this one will be my current build. If you guys want something early, you can come over to this one. If you want something later, you come over to this one. And what I do now is I'll provide you guys with this entire replay and also a demonstration of mana adjustment. So what I mean by mana adjustment is I'm constantly checking for my attack speed. My attack speed is coming from throw attack speed. So constantly checking my mana regeneration, mana reduction, and also attack speed, to the point I'm happy with the mana cost. So the final replay, you're gonna see me testing those aspects and also demonstrating how I can be adjusting my mana efficiency to have infinite mana during different stages of the game. What I do now is I'll show you guys a demonstration of the replay. Now the skill rotations are pretty simple. You always want to be swifting because as you swift, you gain more mana. And because of my mana efficiency trick, I have infinite mana, so I'm not really worried about anything related to mana. And one thing also to notice, when you are moving around, you are constantly slowed by your boots because you're chilled. But if you cast your smoke bomb, this will remove the debuff, giving you more movement speed, more damage, and also even more damage while in the smoke bomb. This is massive for dealing insane damage against single target.